The last show, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory show, was a flop.
Aww.
It was a flop, Elaine, and now we need to rework it. We need to rework the thing. And I'm thinking, what if we took Wonka and just shoved a bunch of new guys in there?
Oh.
What if we spiced it up?
Oh.
You know, we're used to Wonka. We're used to Charlie. We're used to Grandpa Joe. We're used to all of the grandparents. I was wondering if we maybe could inject some of that hot, new, trendy New York character creation style, new people in there. We're revamping the text. Because I think that's what it needs. It doesn't need to change its plot. It doesn't need to change the moral outcome. It doesn't need to change anything. I just think it would be better if, like, Wonka had a brother who was a shoe salesman. Like, don't you think that would bring something new to the work?
Exactly, yeah. I think there are definitely elements there that could be enhanced by, text. As times change, so do people and what they need. Wonka spoke to us about one thing. What if we highlight the other morals of the story? The other, stretch out the other little sugar gum droplets left, chew them over and spit them back out into a can and to eat later.
I mean, fuck it. What if Wonka wasn't even in it? What if we just zoom out entirely and go like halfway across the planet?
You know what
check
Wonka
out
needs?
Some other guy.
Julia Roberts isn't there for now.
And we could add her. We could
add her. She could, in canon, as Julia Roberts.
You know what I've always thought Wonka was missing? A rom-com element.
Yes.
In this essay, I will. Welcome to Wonka Watch,
Sweet
everybody. It's awful.
Don't get me started on making a Wonka rom-com, my God.
I mean, you've written that. Well, you wrote closer to Wonka erotica.
Yeah, Wonka erotica. I'll work on a rom-com for next time.
Welcome, everybody, to Wonka Watch, a podcast about the Wonkaverse. Because we saw the 2023 Wonka, and we're like, what, why, how? Why Timothée Chalamet?
Well, we haven't seen it yet. We heard rumor.
Well, we heard
Dear God,
it.
if we had seen it.
Yeah, if we had seen oh my God. But
we've been lying this whole time, bitches.
But yeah, on this podcast, we talk about things in the Wonkaverse and also just kind of make up shit about the Wonkaverse. A lot of fan creations here.
Fan is a very intense word for us as well.
I wouldn't consider us fans. It's like more contractual enjoyers, but not even enjoyers. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Given a contract artists,
scholars
on contract, filling out our 1099s.
Yeah.
Yes.
A contract that we wrote and drafted ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. But today's episode, we're just gonna pitch new characters for the Wonkaverse. That's what it is.
That's what it is. And it's just about damn time. We do a lot of this kind of adjacently, but we want to kind of come up with not necessarily like Adam Driver Centaur, but like a fictitious creation that could slide on into that canon on little rollerblades.
Exactly. Characters on the periphery. Foreseeable characters. They're jokes because neither of us can be serious for the life of it. But they have some basis in Wonka canon.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I like
We're
it.
both
it's perfect.
Very tired.
It's a great time. I literally cleaned every article of clothing I own and washed my sheets.
Dang.
I feel like I existed
God,
today. That was pretty difficult.
Yeah.
That was a pretty hard one, but I did it. Oh.
Before we jump into the episode proper, though, I think it is time. Oh my God. What is that? I don't know what I'm going to say next.
An elephant? Wow. What's in its trunk? Wait, we've already had that, haven't we?
I don't think we've done an elephant.
Oh, okay, perfect. What's in the elephant's trunk?
You do a good elephant.
I have. I've never been able to do it that good.
It was really good.
Oh my God. I have a potty trick. I'm an elephant.
So I'm opening it up. Wow, it's a nice spicy piece of Wonka Watch news. And this one's actually kind of interesting. There's a lot we can glean from this. So this was an article from Variety that was called "Simon Farnaby Hinted at Some Wonka Set Chaos in Recent Interview."
Chaos.
I know. It's such like, what could he be? So he was basically telling a story about how there's a scene in the movie set at a bar, and his character was drinking a beer there, and they kept having to do these retakes. Which, first off, a lot to get from that.
Yeah, I'm writing notes.
Yeah.
I'm writing notes, and I never do that on this podcast.
So he was like, he thought it wouldn't be, so this normally wouldn't be an issue because they have like fake alcohol and shit. And then he said here, I naively thought, wow, the props department are great, and this tastes just like a normal pint. But it turns out there had been like a mix-up behind the scenes, and it was just like normal straight-up beer.
Oh, no.
And he was fine and everything. But then he, like, to finish the anecdote, he said, so if you see me making a fool of myself during the bar number, just know I was absolutely pissed. So, I mean, bar number. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can extrapolate there. So what do you think, Elaine?
Want a tavern song so badly. Like, so
it would
badly.
Be amazing.
I think I've discussed this with you about how every musical for me, if there's a song in a tavern, it's like the best song. Like,
I don't think we've had this conversation, but it is the least shocking thing you've ever said to me.
Les Mis.
I think I assumed it was true though.
It just
because I agree with you.
Vibe. Like, I'm doing NaNoWriMo right now, and what I play in the background, tavern music. Like, just those 10-hour loops of someone, like, it's the image of a little like medieval pub, and it's just like, I fucking eat that shit up.
It's the Gaston number. Do you know what I mean?
Oh. Yes, it is.
And it also gives us a little bit about Simon Farnaby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because like, so now he's going to be probably a little drunkard at the bar if he's having to drink enough that he's like running out of this drink. And this means that evil people are in the bar, or young Willy Wonka is in a bar at some point. And man, are the possibilities endless.
Well, Elaine, I do have something to break to you. The possibilities are not endless because there was no article, and Variety never reported on any of this. Simon Farnaby has never told this story, and he probably did not get sloshed on the Wonka set because I made it up. There's no Wonka Watch news. It's all middle school productions and fucking Amari Guishon posts. I got an email about him making a chocolate telescope. And then it's all bones and all. So I was getting desperate, and I was like, what if I just wrote one for this week? And I think I knew the tavern bit would excite you, and you wrote actual notes, and I was I had hoped you would be excited, but I never could have imagined you writing notes. It was better than I ever could have asked for.
I thought of 2 different predictions.
I know. There is a small part of me that does want there to be a bar song, so I agreed. Like, I was like, what's something that, like, is not an obvious joke that I could get away with? And I was like, I can only do this like maybe twice on the podcast in their entire time, so I have to use this now. I'm very proud of myself for not giving myself up and laughing. So
I've torn up my notes. Oh my god! Woohoo!
So yeah, there's no Wonka Watch news, but wasn't that fun to imagine?
Honestly,
wasn't it nice to feel like there was?
It really is. I mean, I got so excited, and like, I'm not bummed out. There were like, so I did have a little water in my eye that leaked out. Sometimes when I get surprised with laughter, I cry.
Yeah.
But that tickled my abdominal muscles, and that was good. I tipped my top hat to you.
All right.
Fuck you. I need to get one fuck you in there.
Yeah, I was actually super,
beautiful. It was done so well. I can't be bad. That was so good.
Thank you. All right, characters. We're gonna pitch our fucking characters. I have like 7 bullet points here.
Awesome. I just wrote one on a sticky note. I'm in a note-taking mood.
Nice.
I accidentally had caffeine yesterday. It was a boo-boo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I'm
we're
sorry
in a
about
weird
that.
energy today. Yeah, for those who don't know, I'm caffeine free, so if I have a little bit of caffeine, things go really bad. And so I accidentally had some caffeinated bubble tea, and man, was shit wild. I am going to show you how much I drank of this bubble tea. It was oolong tea, which is a black tea. I mixed it up with rooibos in my head, or however you pronounce that one. And I've just texted it to you, Felicia. That is how much I drank. It's like the first inch of the drink, and I was out of my fucking mind, and I had to give it away. I was like,
this is essentially a 2 sips, listeners.
It really, and like, because I was like, something feels wrong here, and then my friends looked it up, and they were like, oh, Elaine, that's got more caffeine than green tea, and they looked at me like it would be okay. I'm like, dude, I can't even do green tea. Like, oh no. So I gifted it to them, and I had one hell of a day.
All right, this is my first one. Wonka's old roommate, who he had a falling out with. Realistically, Wonka has had to live in a building with another person at some point.
Yeah.
Like, are they rivals now? Like, did they meet, like, because they made chocolate? Like, I don't have anything else other than that.
I see it going one of two ways, right? Like, I see the option where it ended really badly and they're enemies. I also see the option where they kind of keep in touch, but not really. But it's like,
it's like a one-upsmanship kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. Yes. I was thinking like more on the distant, like, oh, you send out the notice that you got married. Cool. Oh, you had a kid. You know, it's like, oh yeah. That's old crusty Bob I used to live with. I do like the one-upmanship. I feel like that would actually be quite fitting. What would the roommate's name be?
I don't know.
Seymour.
I didn't come up. All right, I'm going with Seymour.
Seymour and Wilbur were roommates. Seymour never picked up his dirty socks. Wonka never cleaned up the kitchen. it was doomed from the start.
This summer. A movie that defies all expectations.
A movie so gay-coded you'll be like,
It's like With Nail and I, but worse and boring.
It'll make you feel secondhand anxiety.
Roger Ebert says, ew.
I love that.
Do you want to hear a fun fact about me? In middle school, I was the go-to person for doing the movie trailer voice. I don't know why, but like, it's even interesting. The people who didn't like me, they were like, I don't like Felicia, but damn, can she do a movie trailer voice?
You know, and we gotta hold on to those things. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But
no, but it like makes sense. It's like, that checks out.
You had that. I have my Britney Spears voice is what made me famous. And I wrote a whole cheeseburger song that everyone asked me to sing at every like field trip. So that was me.
We would have gotten along in middle school.
Oh, God, we would have. Like been, 2 houses on fire.
Yeah, it would have been real bad. So that's my first guy. So Seymour's Wonka's roommate. They have a weird one-upsmanship relationship that was definitely a little homoerotic.
Yes.
Nice.
I love it. Perfect.
All right. Give me one of yours.
One of mine. Boop. So this is going to be one of those like side characters where it's in the little flash where we're like seeing all the chocolate mania, the Wonka mania with the chocolate bars. I've written it as a clergyman. It is a clergyman, but as we all know, for Felicia for a while, one episode called a clergyman, and it brought me so much joy. So we have a clergyman, and he's in the middle of like a very intense service, and then he goes to like bless something, and you're like, oh, it's like a baptism or something, and it's just a piece of chocolate, and he's doing the sign of the cross and doing and he's blessing chocolate and then giving it out as communion wafers.
I love that.
That is my edition.
That's good. That's perfect. All right. This is mine. Wonka's electrician. She's a lady who has a background in government intelligence, who retired from that side of things, but still loves the thrill of secrecy.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm like, realistically, Wonka, like, I'm sure there are some Oompa Loompas that are electricians, but there's got to be somebody who is like overseeing shit. And I mean, she could be an Oompa Loompa. I have no issue with that. Do you know what I mean? But like, there has to be somebody who's like a building manager. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she used to work at like the CIA and did like things that people at the CIA do. Very top secret. Very top secret. And she retired because it was just too intense, but she really missed having to keep secrets.
She was part of Fidel Castro's demise. She was like, that was her thing. And she's like, it's a secret, but basically, let's say I helped deal with people who dictated bad things. Does anybody want a Cuban sandwich? You know, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah, and then Wonka was like, because she had that background, he was like, you know what? It's probably fine.
It's good, sure. I love a good secret.
I'd rather not die, so
yeah, a little bit of fear. Healthy.
There's just too much. There has to be someone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I want her to have no name. Like, he doesn't even know her name.
Yes, he doesn't know her name.
She turns in a resume, no name. He's like, oh, what's your name?
He's actually never seen her. He's never seen her. But she's on the payroll, but he doesn't look at the payroll. No. So his HR hiring manager, Craigley, that's a new one too. Craigley, the HR hiring manager.
Let me write that down.
Craigley, the HR hiring manager, deals with all that and deals with the interpersonal relations between those two.
Wow.
And Craigley was like, look, like we've all got a lot of skills, but I don't think any of us know enough about electricity, and I'm not putting one of my friends and family at risk.
No.
So that's why Craigley hired her.
Good for Craigley. He's an honest man.
Great. Yeah.
He likes crunchy chips and crunchy. What am I thinking of?
No, he eats plain sun chips.
Is it crunchy peanut butter? Why did I feel like that's what you call it, right?
Yeah.
Chunky or crunchy?
No, it's crunchy.
Oh my God, but that's so weird. Sorry, I'm having a mind fuck. I usually get crunchy peanut butter, so I don't know why I forgot that, but now I'm all thinking of is potato chips, but like looking at peanut butter, and I'm having a mind explosion.
Okay.
I see him on a spicy day. He's like, oh, I'm going to have my crunchy peanut butter. Oh, that's a little kooky.
A little crazy.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Craigley also organizes the holiday Christmas party.
Oh, and he looks forward to it all year. And then he'll get all the decorations and Wonka will go, actually, I kind of wanted the color theme to be silver and gold, not red and green. And Craigley is like, yeah, sure, I'll fix it. And then he just has to sadly pack everything back into a box that he's been planning since like February. He
participates in the work fantasy football league. No, he's in the bowling league. I'm sorry. I made that mistake. Yes. He's in the bowling league. He's in the bowling league.
He people go, oh, does anyone have $5 and on them so I can go, quickly borrow this thing, buy something? And he's always offering it up and no one ever pays him back or offers him the same.
No.
Thing. Oh, Craigley. Oh, but no. Craigley has a dog he loves so much. And that dog's name is Bragley. It's easy to remember.
So Craigley and Bragley.
Craigley and Bragley. And Bragley is a golden retriever, the most like sweet little boy. And no, that was gonna get dark. Never mind. I was about to go like, it was gonna be so intense.
You're gonna do a traumatic backstory for Craigley. I
was. And I'm like, no, Craigley is sweet. And the worst thing I'll do to him is that he loans people money and they never pay him back. But he's a sweet sweetheart.
Man, wow. I love Craigley.
I love Craigley so much. Oh.
All right. Do you have another one?
Yeah. I got the mayor, bitch.
Oh, the mayor.
I got the mayor. And the mayor's name the mayor's name is John.
Okay.
John Mayer. And here's what John Mayer did. Mayor John, sorry. John tried to give Wonka the key to the city, a classic thing we do.
Yeah. Wonka
accepted the key and then actively broke it on stage at like the ceremony, tipped his hat to John, and then without a word just walked away.
I also want to say he did eat the key. He broke it in half, and he swallowed it.
Oh, I love that. Yes. I am imagining like a big key, which makes that even better as an image. Bummer is that was the original key made by the founder back in 1716. So that piece of history is just gone forever.
Well, it's not gone. It's just gone through his bowels.
Yeah, it'll kind of be hard to put it back together again, but they did do it. And this year, Mayor John is giving the key to Mittens.
He's giving it to Seymour.
He's giving it to Seymour.
And Seymour's really pissed about it because it's Wonka's key. It's literally been through his shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Seymour got it because he runs
he's a locksmith.
Car dealership that does a lot of he owns a car dealership that does a lot of community engagement events. Like, at the park, they've got at least 3 booths they're sponsoring.
They sponsor a basketball team for 5th graders also.
Yeah, so like they're a car dealership, which feels like a weird point, but he's like a community figure. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
Like people know who Seymour is.
Yes.
Does that make sense? People care about Seymour. Wonka's like almost mythical, but Seymour's like a guy, You'll
see more deals down at Seymour's dealership.
Oh my God.
That Seymour gets so pissed when he sees David Beauregard's daughter gets the golden ticket. I just gave Violet Beauregard's dad a first name. I don't know if he already had one, but now it's David.
Yeah, that's right, because he's also a car dealer.
Yeah, is he David or O'Brien? Boris Beauregard.
They're all too fancy for. I don't mean that in a rude way.
David's too. Earl.
I don't know.
Earl Beauregard.
I said is a little too fancy, and you went Earl.
Like Earl, goodbye Earl Dixie Chicks kind of moment.
I guess that's true.
I've been. I'm not.
I was thinking like John Beauregard. Do you know what I mean?
So John is better than David and Brian on the fancy
I don't know. David Beauregard just sounds weird. It doesn't roll off the tongue versus John Beauregard. It makes a little bit more sense to me.
Nobody knows Beauregard's first name. They only call him Beauregard. That's their thing. How about that? That solves that. So Seymour's kind of pissed because he hates Beauregard. Like they've gone to the conventions.
They met up. They had a network.
They had a spat at a bar, a tiff, if you will. And to see him also succeed while Wonka is clearly succeeding even more with his comeback, it's just really grinding his gears. If you know what I'm
picturing a very the Wonka and Seymour relationship. I'm picturing very a similar relationship to Dr. Doofenshmirtz and his brother Roger, and it's this very like Roger's the mayor and he's very like well liked by people, but Dr. Doofenshmirtz is like this mythical being, and he's kind of a failure, but he's also an icon. Do you know what I mean?
I love it.
But I mean, Wonka's not a failure. It's like if Dr. Doofenshmirtz was successful.
Yes.
But Seymour is so nice to everyone except for Wonka. Like that's what he takes it out on. And they actually kind of liked each other when they lived together, and it's this weird resentment that's grown over the years. Due to, little bits of repression from Seymour's side of the
psychoanalysis.
Well, to be fair,
Seymour?
We said there was a homoerotic element to the relationship.
So true.
I'm just calling it like I see it, Elaine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a new guy. I'm saying here, a lot of the popular theory is that Wonka, on some level, decided what children he wanted to bring into the factory. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that here. So there's a kid who got pretty close in the chocolate bar decision process.
Ooh.
Arnold Cumberbund.
Nice.
So Wonka didn't like him because he was a little too pretentious and only watched French New Wave films.
Yeah, I see that. He wears scarves.
Yeah, you'd try and have a normal conversation with him, and he'd say, like, well, that actually reminds me of what Truffaut was trying to say in 400 Blows. And you'd be like, okay, stop.
He'd be offered goldfish, and he'd be like, actually, can I have a biscotti, please?
Yeah, it's
Only
that very,
biscottis. But he has like tiny teeth and they're sensitive.
And Wonka
so
would be like,
he powers through with his biscottis, but it's a big pain.
But Wonka's there like, just be like a fucking kid. This is weird. I don't like what you've got. Just be normal.
Why are you
Stop
an adult? Ew.
Stop eating. Stop ordering veal. What are you doing? You're 8. Anyway.
His parents are
Arnold
professional
Cumberbund.
butlers.
Yeah. I wrote underneath this, by the way, if Alfred Hitchcock was real in the Wonka universe, I just feel like they'd have a weird mutual admiration of each other. I won't explain it.
Perfect. Chef's kiss on that
That's
one.
all.
I've got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
The tailor who makes Wonka's clothes.
Mm.
So clearly this is like
They've got to be custom, so...
Yeah, they got to be custom. And I don't know if this tailor probably used to work on a lot of people's clothes, and I feel like Wonka just has this person on retainer now. I haven't come up with a full name yet. But Wonka, I imagine, probably has a closet all filled with the same things, like same coat every day, or has a ton of beautiful, insane outfits he just never wears. He just has them as a hoarder, you know? And so he'll make these demands and he pays handsomely. But he's like, to the tailor, he's like, I need you to make this really, really fast. And so the tailor makes them really swift. So Taylor Swift is the name of the company, has a big beef with the Mayor John, and which is an issue because there's, it's not a good work dynamic. The mayor has tried to like shut down Taylor Swift, the business, many times. It's pretty toxic. Other people are starting to come out of the woodwork saying that Mayor John maybe hasn't been the best at business relationships. It's pretty tough. But the tailor, whose name can be, what's that guy's name? Make it work. Tim Gunn.
Tim Gunn.
Tim Gunn is the tailor of Taylor Swift.
I love that. I love Tim Gunn. Beef. And I imagine that Wonka, his demands are like really, really specific. So he's like, I want 2 large pockets to take away from the svelte feminine line, but the vest you provided me is appropriate and lovely.
And Tim Gunn just roasts him back, but Wonka loves it.
And then he writes back like, I love this sketch you've given me, but I don't think it really matches my eyes. You see, a vain man knows whose color suits him, yet with all the oddity has strangely good taste. And then he signs off the note with, to match the shoes with the jacket is fey, to match the shoes with the hat is taste. And that's all words right from Gene Wilder's mouth. That's right, I bought the letter back from months and months ago.
Beautiful.
I forget about that letter. It's so good.
So good. It's
to
such
match
a move.
the shoes
I
with the
love
jacket
it.
is fey. To match the shoes with the coat is taste. Hat is taste.
Tim Gunn in the dark with his like oil lamp is going, I just don't see that working.
I don't see it working.
But then he does it anyway. He's like, okay.
Well, you
it's
made
not
it
a good
work,
decision.
Wonka.
I made it work.
I love Tim Gunn.
He's so amazing.
This is my last like really expanded one.
Okay.
Magdalena Merton.
Oh.
She is the composer who Wonka met at a jazz bar. And she creates the themed music for each room in Wonka's factory.
Oh my God.
So, but the problem is Wonka doesn't trust this lady. So I also kind of think this Wonka, I don't know which Wonka this is. I keep picturing book Wonka, like the rolled Wonka for some reason, even if that doesn't make sense. But I'm picturing it like he's like, nobody knows who I am. Nobody can see my face. But like everybody knows who he looks like, what he looks like. And everyone's like, no, we haven't seen Wonka, but like...
Yeah, we have no idea.
We had a guy come in here named Walter Winka, and it's like, okay, you know, like he's not great, and he just kind of wears sunglasses and thinks that enough. And it's like, you're still wearing the hat, motherfucker. You know,
it's still happening. Yeah,
but he wants to maintain this secrecy, so he makes these insane allusions to, like, these vague allusions to what he actually wants the music for. So for the chocolate room, it was designed from the prompt. So like music for the Titanic if it was cooler and better, and not a boat but a big room, and there's no iceberg, but if there was, it wouldn't be made of ice, it would be sugar glass. And she knows it's Wonka, so she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't know about the
interesting.
chocolate room, but she's like, okay, so let's get it some fucking candy whimsy. And he's like, oh my God, I love it. And like, she can give him anything and he'll go, oh my God, I love it. Wonka does not have good taste in music, and I want that to be clear. Like,
Oh, yeah, I don't see that.
he doesn't have any, like...
Florida Georgia Line is one of his favorites.
Oh my God, thank you. I was like, what's the worst band that's not going to offend anybody? And you're so wrong.
Florida Georgia
Imagine if you walked in and that fucking Let It Be song was playing.
It was meant to be, it'll be. And then I'm like, why did you bring BB Rexa out here? Like, there's so much.
That is like one of my least favorite songs ever written. But could you imagine walking into Wonka's factory and that song is playing?
Because they'll do the...
Wait, he's like, he gets on the boat and he's like, wait, this part sings some great. So won't you ride with me? And they're like, why do you like Let It Be by Florida Georgia Line?
And then everyone's so excited because they're like, oh, the song's done. But JK, that was just the country version. Now it's the pop version. That starts looping through, and then he's like, it's different. And then he has
like,
every
you guys
possible
haven't
remix.
seen the remix. You haven't seen the remix.
One of his cooler songs is the Juicy J Zelda remix. One can find on YouTube. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he listens to that. He's there are a few things he does like that aren't bad taste, but like he doesn't yeah, you could hand him any piece of music and he's like, I love it, it's great. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not really discerning. And I admire that, you know?
Yes.
I admire that for him. He listens to the Stooges. I don't know why, but I feel like he'd really like Iggy Pop.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I don't know that as well.
Love Iggy
I'm just
Pop.
saying yes. Like, I've heard these names. I haven't actually listened to them, but...
And then he likes the Strokes. That's another one he's into.
Corn.
He's like, I just love Julian Casablancas.
He had a weird moment with Korn. That was his, like... it was a phase.
There was like a week where that was like he had like the isolated vocals and he just played them on an echo through the tunnel and he'd be going there through it. Like, it was like all quiet and you could just hear like the dripping pipes with like the Corn. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I can't do it. I can't do a good impression of it.
I'm not gonna try because I like yours better.
Hold on.
What would happen if I burned this quarter? Bad things?
So just picture it's really quiet.
Uh-huh.
There's just like the dripping of water down the side, and Wonka's just like looking a little sad into the water, and like he's on the boat, but he's standing like stick straight at the end of it. He's the only one on the boat. It's like all dark in there.
George Washington crossing the Delaware.
And then you just hear this. And this is his commute from like his room.
Wait, what the fuck is this? What is going on?
Vocals only of Twist by Korn.
God, what a nightmare.
So then he makes it into the factory and he's like, I'm ready to start my day. And Craigley's like, bro, are you fucking good? And they had to have an intervention for him.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then that's when he got into Florida Georgia Line. They were like, this
and
is
then
at least healthy.
Magdala Merton was like, bro, I gotta save this. I gotta fix this.
She's like, I can't let this happen.
You know what he's also into? He's also into albums by people who were on TV shows and released an album immediately after and then never made music again.
Yes.
You know what I
Emily
mean?
Osment.
Exactly.
From Hannah Montana. Lucy Hale and her country album.
Do you have one?
I do.
I have one left after this, so.
Okay. This one should be pretty easy.
In the stillness of the night, as the factory slumbers, the river slowly churns. But if one were to close their eyes and put their ear up against the wall, perhaps they would hear crinkles, and their haunting lullabies they wail through the night.
So Crinkles is the factory ghost?
Mm-hmm. I imagine Crinkles lived in the walls, got trapped, and then Crinkles is the ghost now.
That's kind of horrifying, but I love it.
I couldn't not have. I could not let not.
Wonka goes down to minus land. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "I'm Crinkles." And he's like, "Okay." And then he goes back up. That's cool, bud. This one wasn't on me, so I feel like it wouldn't be cool if I brought you back.
No offense, I just don't like crinkle fries, so every time I look at you, I'm gonna think about that. So maybe think about a name change, but I'm gonna leave and never think about this ever again.
He's like, and Crinkle's like, hey, well, Crinkle doesn't say anything.
Crinkle doesn't say anything. Crinkle is like a little pissed that he can't have more Casper energy, but it's just...
Sorry. Also, Wonka's favorite album is the Meatloaf "Bad Out of Hell" album.
Oh,
I actually
yes.
that sorry, I should have said that earlier. And Meatloaf it's not bad taste to like Meatloaf. I almost think it's like good taste to like Meatloaf, but like it's just disparate. It's like if you asked Wonka what music does he like, he'd be like, I don't really know. Does that make sense? Like I'm not,
No. Yeah, no. This is not a diss to Meatloaf.
This is not a diss to any of those artists. It's just sense. Wonka doesn't know why. And Wonka just kind of listens to whatever he has access to. Anyway.
No, I imagine Crinkles, started off as like a worker for the building and then had a worker accident, but no one noticed. And as we often see with building sites, they just threw the skeletons in the walls and called it a day.
Can I give an alternate that's a little bit less horrifying?
Sure.
Let's say this is when Wonka, so Wonka had all these people who he had hired, and if we're going with original Wonka canon, he does fire people and brings in the Oompa Loompa team. Now, I like to think
Craig's is like, you can't legally do that. I have some paperwork I have to do, and Wonka just keeps doing it.
Well, no, Crinkly's a fanboy. Crinkly's a fanboy of Wonka.
I'm saying so Craigley.
Oh, Craigley.
Let's do it. Crinkles.
Craigley.
So we have Clergyman, Craigley, and Crinkles.
Yeah. I was thinking Craigley is an Oompa Loompa. He was a new hire with everything. I like to think of if Wonka is doing the whole Oompa Loompa thing, he's just hiring them fairly. Do you know what I mean? Just in a normal way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. And it's just he wanted workers not from the local area.
Yeah.
So he went recruiting. Yeah, hopefully he pays them fairly.
I would hope so.
I would hope. But he fired all his current workers because of the chocolate spies and things like that.
Right.
But Crinkly is a huge fanboy. He's a huge Wonka fanboy, and that's why he applied for the job in the first place. Wait, is that not his name?
He's Crinkles.
Crinkle. I got confused with Craigley. So Crinkles was a huge Wonka fanboy. Crinkles Sinclair is his name, and. So he's a huge Wonka fanboy. So that when Wonka fired everyone, he's like, maybe I can just like hide out in here for a little while. And he just kind of started crawling in the walls and like collecting all this information about Wonka. And then one time Wonka opened a door and saw this big like poster board with all these red pins in it that just had photos of him on it that like Craigley had taken.
No.
Not Craigley. Crinkles had taken from a ceiling vent. But then Crinkles sadly passed.
Oh.
But got his wish because now he haunts the factory forever and can pass through walls. So,
yes.
So both are actually really depressing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that was still a little spoopy.
I just don't feel that bad for Wonka. You know what I mean?
Never. I have never felt bad for Wonka.
Yeah, I've never felt bad for him. I have one left. Where are you at?
I've been making these up the whole time.
Okay. Well, that's impressive.
I can go endlessly, technically. So,
all right. This is my last one I made, which is Gourmand Eustace Petricle III, a perfume magnet.
Oh,
Wonka is convinced is ripping him off.
Can you say that? I want to hear that full name again because it's beautiful.
Gourmand Eustace Petricle III, a perfume magnet who Wonka is convinced is ripping him off.
Oh my god!
And to be fair, Wonka's not wrong. Basically, Gourmand Eustace Petricle III is releasing these scents that are like clearly inspired by Wonka fragrances. You're not going to find the name Wonka anywhere on there, but it's like, okay, but what's the Scrimple Wimple Fug? Like,
yeah, like how could that?
Yeah, like what's the Scrimple Dumple chocolate bloom. Like, what is that if not?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And it's got like the
It's-
purple packaging, and it's like that whole like we can't say it's Wonka, but it's Wonka.
The
you know
G
what I mean?
is in the like Wonka font, you know, it's like not a
Exactly.
W, but it's like that's the Wonka font, you know.
So Wonka just has this beef with Gourmand Eustace Petrichor III, and is like he just complains about it a lot at employee meetings, and they can't really do anything about it, but they're like, I guess it keeps him busy.
Yeah. Gourmand, I feel like probably gets a sick joy out of this.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, Wonka, don't you wish you could do anything about what I do? And then Wonka keeps sending him these like threatening letters that aren't really threatening to do anything. They're just kind of ominous, like.
And Gourmand just is like, you smell like shit.
Wouldn't it be better if you tried one of my perfume? No, Gourmand Eustace Petrichor III sends him PR packages every time a new product drops. And he's like, that bitch, every time he opens it. But the problem is one of them smelled really fucking good, and he does wear it. And that's what makes it a problem, because he's like, your fragrances, they do fucking slap. I'll give you that. But you bitch. And this happened around the golden tickets thing. You know what I mean?
Man.
So it was really capitalizing off the Wonka mania. So yeah, Gordon Eustace Petrichor III. And then he learned that Gordon Eustace Petrichor III and Seymour knew each other. And he was like, oh, fuck off.
No. Because when
fuck
Seymour
off.
studied abroad.
Yep. He met Gourmand Eustace Petrichor III.
Yeah.
And Gourmand Eustace Petrichor III is actually his brother-in-law.
Oh, that's so sweet. And yikes.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And when
Yeah.
Wonka found that connection on Facebook, he was like, oh my God, it's all coming together. And Craigley's like, I don't know if this is, like, you need to chill it.
Gourmand Eustace,
down.
what's his last name?
Gourmand Eustace Petrichor III. Petricle. It's not
Gourmand
a word.
Eustace Petrichor III is trying to become the Wonka of perfume, or Wonka's trying to be the perfume of, you know, Gourmand's word, but he's like trying to make bottles that shift and stuff. Like,
yeah, and
you know, like
he's
there's
slowly,
some, like, you
and he
have
keeps
visions
calling
with
himself
one
like,
perfume
I'm
or
like
something.
the Wonka of perfume, and Wonka's like, no, I'm the Wonka of perfume. Even though I don't make perfume, but like, you don't know that I don't.
Wonka
you know?
tried one time to release a scent, and it did not
And it was
go well.
fucking awful.
COVID-19 happened.
And you know what
it
it
did
was
not
called?
go well.
You know what it was called? It was called Integrity. Integrity by William Wonka.
Wow.
And he played it like real straight. Like it was just like a mediocre. It was very Old Spice, unfortunately. But because Wonka doesn't get out much, he thought he was being very innovative, and they were like, this is nothing.
Nothing.
And then he put out another one, and they were like, this is pure sugar. And then someone got attacked by bees, and he had to shut down the corporation.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't like when people told him, you know, you can't just make your perfume out of maple syrup. Like there's more to it than that. And he was like, I'll do what I fucking please. And then
his whole thing, he's
got
like, well,
sued.
maybe I'll, you know, he's like, this one's gluten free. Everyone's like, what? He's like,
They're like, that's
wait,
not
no,
what-
perfume.
that wasn't the problem.
He's like, no, you want to smell good, right? So you like, squirt it in your mouth and then spit on yourself. That's how that works, right?
Okay, but actually, no. An invention that a Wonka candy that you would taste and then it would become a perfume for you. That actually is like a great Wonka creation.
That's a great Wonka. That's so
He
good.
actually did make that, but the problem was the scents were just like mediocre, and that's why they never took off. Like they just and
also it's like, who wants to smell like
actually,
sour
here's
candy
the
apple
thing.
was the problem.
He was like,
too.
fuck it, I give in. I'm going to ask Gourmand Eustace Petrichor III if he wants to get in on this with me. And that bitch said no. And then 8 months later, what's he coming out with? What's Gourmand Eustace Petrichor III coming out with? He's coming out with a rival product because Wonka didn't get the patent in on time because his patent filer...
Uh-huh.
Could he have teamed up with another person in the candy world? Perhaps a frog?
Oh, I was just looking for a name of his patent filer.
Oh.
Ennis.
Dennis without the D. Ennis.
No, that's
Okay.
a name. It's from Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, my bad.
I was looking around my room and I saw the little Brokeback Mountain picture
you're
I
like,
have, and I
Ennis.
was like, okay. So Ennis Toyota was out on vacation He went to the Bahamas. And so it wasn't Ennis's fault, nor was it Mr. Wonka's, but it just kind of fucked them over. So then he had to enter into business with one of his bitter rivals, Fickle Grubber, to stop the torment of Gourmand Eustace Petricle III. I have to like close my eyes to get
every time Felicia has had to like shift to a different realm to pull this name forward.
Gourmand Eustace Petricle III. Gourmand Eustace Petricle III.
Mm-hmm.
Gourmand Eustace Petricle III.
Gourmand is best friends with Amari Guichon also.
Yes, 100%.
Best friends, which pisses Wonka off even more. He's like, no, he's in my reality TV show. What the literal fuck are you doing?
You can't.
You can't. Kate Blanchett loves his perfume, and Wonka's like, God damn it!
He's like, I love you, Kate Blanchett. Stop.
Stop it, Kate Blanchett.
How dare you, Kate Blanchett. And then
Blanchett,
Idina Menzel promoted it.
Oh, no.
She did an Instagram sponsored post, and he was like,
I can't. And then he got to go to like some fancy party, right? This is the one time he went out, okay? Because he was like, fine, I have to go. It's like someone's big anniversary or something. Someone hoity-toity with big connections. And he goes by. And
it was the gay couple with dogs open house.
Yes, open house. And who walks by but none other than Celine Dion. And he's like, Celine, hi. And then his nostrils fill with this beautiful cacao vanilla
and that's the thing.
Bean
the
scent.
Fragrances are fucking amazing. Like they're
so
good. They're so good. And the problem is Wonka wears one of them. You know?
Yeah.
Like because he was like, I smell like shit. I need to
Sorry, Cow Chanel. But then he's
Cow
like, Cow Chanel. And so Celine Dion is wearing Cow Chanel, and he's just mid-pause about to be like, Celine, you changed my life. And then he is heartbroken. And then that is when he enters his corn face.
Hold on. He leaves the party. He walks sadly down the road.
Oh my God.
And all through his Apple earbuds as the rain plays outside, he walks back to his factory to have his daily scone decompress with Craigley after work. And in his earbuds plays. You're here, there's nothing to fear, and I know that my heart will go on. I feel like that's where we end. I feel like
We've told so many stories. I think Timothy Chalamet, my roommate, just started singing Celine Dion back to me. I can't tell if that was reverberation, but it almost sounded like that happened.
That was kind of incredible if that was what happened.
I highly enjoyed it.
Wow. I like our Wonka. Like, I feel like Wonka watched Wonka as his own guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Because none
highly
of the
enjoy
Wonkas
him.
talk like this, but we decided he does.
This is how that Wonka talks. And I like that everybody's name almost rhymed. We have Craigley, the HR manager, with his golden retriever, Bragley. We have the clergyman, who blesses chocolate. We have, I guess
Crinkles.
Gourmand. Crinkles, whose nickname is Crinkly.
Yeah. Let's just go through our roundup. We have
Yes.
what was the Beauregard, one of them.
Oh yeah, we
talked more about him.
Beauregard.
Wonka's old
Seymour.
roommate Seymour. What was the name of the mayor? Mayor John. Mayor John.
Mayor
Wonka's
John, and then
electrician who does not have a name.
Tim Gunn, who is the owner of Taylor Swift.
Arnold Cumberbund.
Oh yes,
Magdalena Merton.
Mm-hmm.
Crinkles. And then Gourmand Eustace Petricle III.
Yes.
I like all of them. I mean, I feel like they could be real, you know?
I'm really emotionally attached to all of them.
Yeah, and if someone from the Wonka production team wants an easy way to pay us our fucking dues for doing this podcast through 3 years, just put a Gourmand Eustace Petricle III mention in there.
That's all you need.
All I want is a poster. Just put a poster up in the background. I know you're done filming, and it would take a lot of work.
A religious leader blessing chocolate. I think that's great.
It would be
good
fun.
material. It'd be fun.
I'm surprised it wasn't in the Wonka Mania sequence, honestly. It's very on brand. All right. So, like, that was really fun as a thought experiment. But, like, did we get, like, how are we going to make predictions from this, you know?
It's unfortunately, I think it's just geared us up to create some wild predictions because we're in the mood to be like, oh, but there's so many possibilities. We did this in 1 hour. We created, like, what, 10 characters or something? Bonkers like that, you know? And I'm like, oh, God, give us another hour and we'd have created a whole, like, 10-volume like saga. So I think for me, it kind of opened up the whimsy again of possibilities. And so I honestly, you lied to me. You told me a good fable at the beginning of this. Yeah. The moral being don't trust anyone. And I am now going to say that I think that there will be a brawl in a bar.
Oh,
a brawl, not just you know what I mean, like you have brawls in bars, you don't have like a brawl in Macy's, you know, which is canon in the Wonka universe.
And that's where Gourmand sells his budget line.
Yes.
I think I am going to predict that there's going to be a part of the movie where Wonka has to deal with some element of like a very bureaucratic procedure. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So like, you know how in Paddington when he has to go to like the organization for the explorers and things like that, like something like that, like some sort of bureaucracy, like, oh, well, you didn't fill out the form. And I know I said earlier that he would meet
taxes.
A local politician, and
Yes.
this is like a little bit different from that. I don't want it to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be some element of like he has to do something with involving the bureaucracy.
I like it. Specific poll here: the Custom House and Little Door at BBC series featuring our Matthew McFadden.
I have no clue what you're talking about. Which is
it's good.
Wow.
Oh my God,
is this what it
so
feels
good.
like to be you?
That
sounded really mean. That sounded incredibly mean. I'm just saying that was more of a diss at myself for the amount of fucking
my niche
polls
thing
I make.
just pulled. I'm honestly
like,
shocked that, like, I mean, I'm not shocked because it is kind of niche, but it has Matthew McFadden in, who's like a fave of us.
Well, no,
you
but
know?
I'm like a big Tom girl. I haven't gotten much far out of the Tom canon, if that makes sense.
We have our 2007
I want
Pride
to,
and
but there's part of me
Prejudice.
that's scared to watch Pride and Prejudice, and I don't know why.
Okay, well, nice. I love it. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this episode of Wonka Watch. If you would like to follow us for fun updates and graphics and such and giggles, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Wonka Watch. If anything we said brought any ideas or concerns or anything in general, you can email us at wonkarapture@gmail.com. Let's say you're feeling extra spicy and you're like, hey, I would love to support the podcast. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/WonkaWatch, and boy, do we have some silly chaos that we are ready to bring to you as the next tier in our silliness there. I'm so excited.
We don't know. We have a goal that we're going to try and get an audiobook reading of The Imperfect Love by Elaine Best.
The love of Grandpa Joe and Willy Wonka.
One of the best pieces of fiction ever written. It is life-changing.
Oh
so,
my God, I'm so excited.
Very excited about that. And if you contribute, we'll do you a little song. We'll make a little song.
Yeah.
A little ditty.
Little ditty. And you know, after the birth of all of our new children in this Wonkaverse, as much as I've gotten attached to their storyline and the interwoven beauty of their lives, unfortunately, Felicia, it's not that important.
Yep.
It's not that important.
I don't know why I said that. It's not that important. I totally zoned out. It's not that important considering I fucking lied at the beginning of this episode.
You know what is important? I'm
What is
pretty
important?
sure my roommate just made popcorn. Oh. I smell butter.
Ooh. Well, Elaine's got to go get on that little...
I got to go steal her food.
Up in the air and follow the scent trail like a cartoon character on the way to the popcorn. See you later, guys. Bye.